Good morning, everyone. I've decided to use the ball today for some variety and variation. I'm aware that not all of you may have a ball, so I will give alternatives, but otherwise you could do last Wednesday's class. So just be mindful. You do have your ball in a nice safe place, not with sharp furniture close by, but remember one of the main rules of the ball is don't fall off. Okay, and yes, if you have a sore back, some of them may not be suitable for you. So I will try and give different options for if you're not using the ball. We'll start off stretching on the floor though, but if at any time you prefer to stretch using the chair, as I have shown you before, then feel free to do so. Enjoy. So a standing spine roll, just checking that flexibility. Deep breath in, grow taller. Breathing out, chin to chest, peel your spine off that imaginary wall. Notice how far down you are reaching. V-line, use the abdominals to support your spine from halfway up. Tuck with the pelvis and squeeze the core to the upright. And again, breathe in, grow taller. Breathing out, chin to chest, roll it down. Notice how far you are reaching. V-line, use those abdominals to support the spine and curl to the upright. One more. Breathe in, grow taller. Breathing out, chin to chest, roll it down. Notice how far you are reaching. Use those abdominals to support your spine and curling to the upright. We'll do a pec stretch against the wall. Remember to keep that forearm upright as opposed to like that wrist above your elbow. So elbow a little bit behind the torso, feet towards the center of the room, leaning forwards into your stretch. Make sure you maintain a pelvic tilt and looking forwards, not pulling around with your neck. Nice deep breaths, get the breath to the base of the lungs. Turn the feet towards the wall, easing the arm off and over onto the other side. Turn the feet to the center of the room, leaning into that stretch until the pull comes through into the front of your chest. Looking forwards and no hunching with your shoulders. Get used to taking those nice deep breaths. Get the breath to the base of the lungs. Turn the feet towards the wall and easing that arm off. And we'll bring it down and do hamstring stretch. I'm not going to use the band for a change because you don't have to have a band. I think you can all see me, don't need to bring that closer. Raising the left leg up, either interlink your fingers behind your thigh or behind your calf. Remember, if you do have a sore neck, pop that rolled up towel or cushion in underneath the head. If you want that firmer stretch, straightening the opposite leg. So pressing up with the heel, down with the hip, bend the elbows, pull your knee towards your shoulder. Now flex and point that foot to stimulate through that sciatic nerve. Make sure that you are beelining, abdominals stay active, and nice sideways movement of that rib cage as you breathe. And changing legs. Interlink your fingers so you've got a good grip of that leg. That firmer stretch, you can straighten the leg or keep it bent. Pressing up with the heel, down with the hip, bend the elbows, knee to shoulder, flex and point. Have your foot nice and straight, make sure it's not turned out. Keep your chin tucked in and your shoulder blades pressed to the floor. Easing out of that and a buttock stretch. Left foot on the right knee, hold behind your right thigh. But if you're wanting a firmer stretch, hold in front of that right knee. Hug the thigh towards the chest. Try dropping that right knee slightly to the right-hand side, just looking for that firmer stretch into the left buttock. Hug that thigh in and relax your tailbone back towards the floor. Always consciously relax the stretch muscle, breathing through your stretch. And always compare left and right side. Make sure you do feel the stretch in the correct muscles. Changing sides. Holding either behind that left thigh or in front of the left knee, hugging the thigh to your chest. And then try dropping that left knee a little to the left-hand side, looking for that firm stretch. And easing out of that, and we'll lie over on our stomachs for a change for your thigh stretch. So body in a straight line, bringing the heel to the buttock, squeeze the buttocks tight and press your hips flat into the floor. And changing sides, heel to the buttock, squeezing the buttocks tight, pressing your hips down flat. Make sure that you beeline as well. Easing out of that, and we'll go to downward dog to stretch out through your calves, but feel free to stand against the wall to stretch your calves as well. So if you've got sore wrists or sore shoulders, do it against the wall. Otherwise, you're in that 4-point kneeling position. Tuck your toes, pushing back. Slowly alternate with one leg at a time, pressing your heel down towards the floor. Keep the weight on the little toe side of the foot. Keep your foot nice and straight. Flatten your spine. Press the tailbone towards your back wall. Now pushing down with both. So weight on the little toe side of the foot. Push away with your hands. Try and straighten your knees as much as you can. Get those heels as flat onto the floor as possible. And easing out of that. Give those wrists a little shake. And time to take a seat on your ball. So first of all, you want to sit just forwards of center of your ball. So not right on top of that ball, walk it forwards. You want your knee to be above your ankle, and so it's that 90-90 position. Belly dancing is your first one. So exercising on the ball is fun. Enjoy. So learning to use those tummy muscles to move your pelvis. So trying to gain awareness of that position of the pelvis. So we often get a sore lower back because we're holding the pelvis in the wrong position. So quite often we're not aware of where our neutral is. So sorry, just once again, sideways, that is how your back should be in the neutral position. So it's a flat back, a straight back. You'll notice in this position you can pull the tummy in. But we are going to first of all go past neutral. So you're going to stick your bottom out and pull the tummy in and tuck right under. From the rib cage up stays still, just moving from the pelvis. So you'll notice the ball will roll back and the ball will roll forwards. But from here, stay still. You're not doing this sort of thing. So breathing out to arch, deep breath in to tuck right under. So breathing in to arch, breathing out to tuck right under. Aim for a nice smooth movement using the tummy muscles and pelvic floor as you tuck right under. Feel those abdominals working. So arch your back and tuck right under. So we're loosening into that lower back and gaining awareness of the movement of the pelvis by using those tummy muscles. Tuck right under. So now if your back is sore as you're doing this, you can do a smaller range of movement and gradually then make it larger, nudging into that discomfort. Okay, so that was backwards and forwards. Now, once again, in that flat back position, you're going to hitch the hip up towards the rib, so you should feel it working around your waist. Hitch that hip up, back to the center and to the other side. Try and make sure that you're doing it equally from one side to the other. So feel it around your waist. Breathe out to the side, breathe in to the center. So hitching that hip up towards the rib. You may notice you're a little looser on one side. So work a little harder on your more challenging side. So looking for an equal range of movement. Hitch that hip up so that ball is rolling sideways, your lower back is straight, flattened. So in that neutral position. And back to the neutral. Now we're going to circle on the ball. So you're full belly dancing. So it does consist of a tuck under, a slide, an arch, a slide, and a tuck under. So you're aiming for circling on that ball. So getting movement through the pelvis from the ribcage upstairs, still moving your pelvis. Reverse that movement. I'm slipping on the carpet, so I'll just move that back a touch. So make sure that your feet are nice and stable on the floor. So reverse your circle. Make sure that your feet are nice and stable. Now we're going to do one in each direction and incorporate the breathing. Make sure that you don't skimp out on that tuck under, because then you'll feel those abdominals working more strongly. And do a smaller circle if it's hurting into the back. Gradually loosen. So breathing in to roll back, breathe out to tuck under and reverse it. One in each direction. Breathe in to go back, breathe out to tuck right under. Make sure you're not hunching through those shoulders. Those knees stay more or less still, so you're not flopping them around. Try to get that movement happening from your pelvis and looking for that equal range, left and right. So one in each direction, really using those tummy muscles, tuck right under. One more in each direction, tuck right under. So get those tummy muscles activated. We'll do a little side stretch. So once again, your back is straight. So be aware of that little tuck under, so your lower back is flattened. And so hand on your ball. Now you'll let the legs go. Crown of the head and fingertips, relax that shoulder. So breathe out to stretch, deep breath into the center. Breathe out to reach. That arm back in line with your ear. Make sure that you are squeezing your core. Your lower back is flattened. Reach it over. So as you loosen up, you'll notice you can go a little further. Breathe into the center. Breathe out to reach. Crown of the head and fingertips, reach towards that sideboard. Your elbow as straight as possible, and that arm back in line with your ear. Breathe out to reach, deep breath into the center. One more to each side. Notice if one side feels tighter than the other. All right, and now we'll do some twists. Hopefully warming up. It was a cold start to the morning. Hopefully you're warming up now. Even though this is just a warm up, not the main course of the snack. Knees are squeezed together. Imagine your knees are against a wall. So you're not wanting the knees to shuffle like that. Keep them flattened. So when you turn to the left-hand side, push forwards with that right knee. So looking across. Deep breath into the center, breathe out to twist. Relax your shoulders. If you're turning to the left, push through your left knee. If you're turning to the right, push through your right knee. So the movement, the twist happens at your back and not just by twisting through the pelvis. Breathe out to the center, deep breath in. Breathe out to twist, breathe into the center, breathe out to twist. Pulling back from that back shoulder, not from your neck. Nice deep breaths and relax out of that. A little bit of balancing. Once again, make sure you're forwards of the center of your ball, your lower back is upright, arms are lifted, and lift your leg. And the other side, getting your stability from squeezing your core, pinching through the buttocks. Now hunching with those shoulders. So swapping legs, squeeze the core. Now you can either continue with that, otherwise if you want to work a little harder, have a straighten and then down, straighten and down. If you want to work a little harder still, you can close your eyes. So squeeze your core to keep your balance. Those shoulders relaxed. And one more. And relax under that. We're going to be over onto our stomachs on the ball now. And once again, it's also about balance. Try to keep your torso locked still. Try to not let the torso twist as you do the movement. So once again, stability from abdominals and by pinching the buttocks. So your position on your front on the ball, get that ball in close to you, walk it forwards. Now you want to make sure you're not overarching to the back the way I am at the moment. Draw the tummy in and tuck the tailbone under so that your pelvic tilt on your front. Make sure your arms are not touching your ball. Your wrists should be in underneath your shoulders, your elbows are soft. Neck in line with the rest of the spine. Don't go into this position. Michelle, lift your chest, lift the head. So you could just be in your 4-point kneeling position now, okay, which is this position. Sorry, water bottle, everything's scuffling. You could just be in this position and doing your one-on-one leg. Touch with that ball. Tuck under with the pelvis. Don't let the torso twist. Flex your foot, squeeze your core. Hold for about the count of 5 and then changing sides. Spread your fingers wide and keep the shoulders away from the ears. Often we do have a more unstable side, so try and hold that side a little longer. Now try to not twist through your torso, as I said before. Maintain that tuck with the pelvis. Your wrist should be directly and underneath your shoulder. Tuck under with the tailbone. Squeeze your core. Squeeze the buttocks. So we'll do one more each side. But if you are finding this balance hard, then this is a good one to snack on. Maintain that tuck with the pelvis. Don't let your head drop. One arm, one leg, squeezing the buttocks. Okay. Now, at any time, if you're feeling strained through into that lower back, you can drop into rest position. Okay. So rest position is bottoms up, getting that stretch in through your lower back. So I've got my elbows resting on the floor and my head is dangling. If you don't feel like you're getting sufficient rest position, you can go into your normal one. Knees are wide and back is flattened. We're going to walk it forwards now, and we're going to squeeze in from the inner thighs, so like a scissor movement with the legs, and squeezing in. Then we will do a scissor movement, and then we will do swimming. Okay, if you don't have a ball, you can still do this on the floor. You can always put a cushion in underneath your stomach if your back is sore, and you'll be squeezing in like that. But otherwise, on the ball, walk it forwards slightly so that your feet lift up off the floor. Make sure that you're not walking it forwards too much. Watch out for that overarching into your lower back. The ball should be underneath your stomach to support your lower back. But lift your legs a little higher than the torso. You'll notice my back is arching now a little. Make sure that you squeeze your core so your back is supported. Knees are straight and squeezing in from those inner thighs. Get your heels touching. Create your own self-resistance. So it's percussion breathing. A breath out with each squeeze. Squeeze buttocks, squeeze core, pelvic floor, and inner thighs. Lots happening there. Remember, one of the main principles of Pilates is concentration. Have your concentration on those muscles that you are working to get the most out of your workout. Squeeze your buttocks, squeeze in from the inner thighs. Don't start collapsing through your chest. Elbows are soft, not locked. Your back muscles are also working, so remember to squeeze your core. Now we're going to scissor it. So one up, one down. Still keep your feet flexed and turned out. Don't do funny things with those feet. Yes, I'm watching you. Keep those feet flexed and turned out. Squeeze in. You are scissoring past. I hope you're discovering those inner thighs by now. And now feet are flexed and facing down. Touch the floor, lift the other leg just a little higher than the torso and swap it over midway. Keep your chest lifted and make sure you join those tummy muscles away from your ball. Squeeze the buttocks. Think of lifting from the back of the leg, the hamstring, and from back by squeezing the buttocks. Keep your chest lifted, neck in line with the rest of the spine, shoulders away from your ears. That percussion breathing. Squeeze your buttocks, lift from your hamstrings. And rest position. So you should notice your lower back has worked, and so just stretch it out into rest position. Easing out with that. And we're going to work the back muscles more now. So your feet will be against the wall. I'll just show you this way first because you may not see properly what I'm doing. But if you don't have that stability of the wall, it's a little bit tricky. So you're going to lift up, lift your arms higher than the torso and take yourself down. So you are like that. I will pop my feet against the wall, but make sure that you are not don't pull upwards from the neck. Head comes along for the ride and pinch your shoulder blades. You can also, of course, do the same thing if you're familiar with this one from the floor. Make sure that you keep your knees locked straight, so all the bending happens at your lower back. So that is where you should be working from. Lower back, upper back, and triceps. To get onto your ball, place your foot on the wall. Ease your ball underneath your hips. So wiggle until you are comfortable. Feet are shoulder distance apart and arms are to your sides. You could hold your hand weights. So make sure that ball is not too far forwards. It should be in underneath your stomach and your hips, not in underneath your chest as such. It's hips and abdominals. Knees are locked straight. Breathe in to lift, pinch your shoulder blades. Breathing out to lower. Take yourself down so you move through a larger range of movement. Breathing in to raise, lock those knees straight. Breathing out to lower, 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 lower. Lifting up, pinch your shoulder blades. So move through that larger range of movement. Take yourself down and lifting. So feel the triceps working as you lift those arms up higher than your torso. Always looking for symmetry. Lift the left arm as high as you're lifting the right. Make sure those knees stay locked straight, pulling the abdominals in away from your ball. Breathe in to raise, breathing out to lower. Lift those arms higher than your torso. Breathing in to lift, breathing out to lower. One more. And briefly into rest position. sides on the ball now. So you should feel it working around your waist. Make sure that you maintain a tuck so that you're not getting discomfort into your lower back. Now, if you don't have a ball, you can do your double side leg lift. The ball's going to stay. You're doing your double side leg lift. You're on the outer edge of your mat. Your legs are forwards from your mat. Hips are vertically stacked. Hand on the far edge of the mat. And it's a last breath out as you lift. It's a small range of movement. Those knees stay locked straight. Now be careful with your balance. This is a little tricky on the balance, so just take your time getting into position. That ball should be in underneath your hip. Make sure it's not in underneath here. And so place your foot on the ball, ease your hips onto that ball, and the leg that's resting on the ball, that is the leg that is forwards. Try and keep your knees straight. If that ball is too close to the wall, your knees will be bent. So you may need to scoot that ball away a little bit. And cross the arms over on the front. Make sure you're not curling in. Your body's in a straight line, so you're not like that. Take yourself down over the ball. Squeeze rib to hip to come up. Take yourself down, down, down. And tuck with the pelvis, squeezing rib to hip. Make sure you're not pulling from the neck. You work around your waist. Breathe through the movement. So start your breath out and breathe through the movement. You are breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. Maintain a tuck with the pelvis. Keep your hips vertically stacked, looking directly forwards, neck in line with the rest of the spine. Squeeze rib to hip as you come up. Make sure shoulder blades are in pocket. You're not hunching through those shoulders. Squeezing rib to hip. Strong side out to come up. Deep breath in. Keep those knees straight. The bending happens at your waist, not at your knees. So no cheating. Lift it up. Relax it down now. Hold your stretch. Hand on the floor, and you can use that bottom hand to gently pull on that top arm and breathe into the armpits. Relax your head down and feel that stretch through your side. Nice deep breaths into the armpits. And over onto the other side. So hopefully you felt that working a little bit more strongly than you actually do on the floor, because you're moving through a larger range of movement there. So ease your hip onto the ball. That bottom leg, the one that's resting on the ball, is the one leg that comes forwards. And make sure your body's in a straight line. Make sure that you're not like that. Get your balance on that ball. You need to wiggle it around. Make sure that you're tucking with the pelvis. Your hips are vertically stacked. Cross your arms in the front. Make sure you're not hunching in. Shoulder blades are in pocket. Do not pull from your neck. Head comes along for the ride. Breathing out to lift. Breathing in to lower. Take it down, 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 down. Squeeze rib to hip to come. So you are taking as long to lift as you do to lower. Squeeze rib to hip to come up. Make sure that you are beeline. Pull those tummy muscles in. Don't allow them to dome out. Pull them in. Keep your knees straight. No bending at the knees as you come up. The bend happens at your waist. So you are squeezing rib to hip. Start your breath out and breathe through the movement. Breathe in to go down, breathing out to lift. Squeezing rib to hip. One more. Take it down and you've earned your stretch. Relax the head and reach. And nice deep breaths into the armpits. Keep a tuck with the pelvis. and easing out that one. Work the abdominals a little with the ball now. So if you don't have a ball, you could pop a small towel between your feet so that you're squeezing your inner thighs, or you can just squeeze those inner thighs without holding on to anything. So the inner thighs will work harder when you're holding onto your ball. Make sure that you lengthen your hips away from your ribs, get that flat and more stable spine. The ball is going to be between your feet. Now, if you have a sore back, just hold this position as you would for the 100, so you can keep your knees bent. Your head can rest down if your neck is sore. So keep that cushion in underneath your head. If you'd like a challenge, you're going to lower and raise. So remember, sore backs, you can, with or without your ball, feet above the buttocks, holding that position, lower back imprinted. So if you are holding that ball, squeeze ribs to hips, lower the ball to where your back is still imprinted, beelining, squeeze ball and inner thighs to lift. Look towards the ball as you lower it. Squeeze core, squeeze that ball as you lift. Breathing out as you lower. Make sure that you are beelining. Squeezing ball and inner thighs to lift. Do not let your back arch. Keep that back imprinted. Breathing out to lower. Squeeze ball and inner thighs. One more. Squeeze that ball. Bend your knees and take the ball down. So make sure that you are beelining. Pull those abdominals in. Never brace by pushing them out. Always pulling in. So only lower those legs till you still feel in the tummy, not your back. Or you hold that position. And again, lifting up. Nice deep breaths. So you are breathing out to lower. Get that flattening of the ribcage, flattening of the abdominals. Deep breath in to raise. If your head is lifted, squeeze ribs to hips. Keep your head still. Squeeze ball and inner thighs to lift. Take as long to lower as you do to raise. Tuck your chin and look towards that ball. Squeeze core and inner thighs to lift. Breathing out to lower. Deep breath in to lift. One more. Keep beelining. Squeeze that ball. Bend your knees and take that ball down. We'll do one more of those. Hopefully those abdominals and inner thighs are working. So contract forwards, lifting your ball, squeeze that ball, beeline. Lowering the ball, squeezing core and inner thighs to lift. Keep squeezing ribs to hips, breathing out to lower. Deep breath in as you raise. Lowering that ball as low as you can where your back is imprinted. Squeeze ball and inner thighs to lift. Look towards the ball as you lower. Squeezing core and inner thighs to lift. One more. Breathing out to lower. Deep breath in to lift. Bend your knees. Pop that ball down. Hopefully those inner thighs are getting a workout. All right, so a bit of core stability now. Pop your feet up on that ball, your palms will face down. And I'll just bring that camera in a little closer. So feet are resting on your ball. No pillow behind the head. Head is down, inner thighs are squeezed. Peel your spine off. You're aiming for a straight line. Don't lift too high to where your back is arching. You're maintaining a pelvic tilt. You're going to float one arm up to the ceiling, float the other arm up, and float both hands up. And take it down. Keep your ball absolutely still, as if you had your feet up on a chair. So squeeze your core, squeeze your buttocks. One arm, other arm, both arms. Keep those buttocks lifted, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze your core. You can close your eyes if you like more of a challenge. Both arms. Hold it there, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze your core. And take it down. Have a short rest. So if you're battling with that one, have a little snack on that one. Your back muscles are working. So if you do a lot of them, make sure that you do just hug your knees into the chest to stretch those back muscles out again. Okay. So yes, you're aiming for that stability. Now we're going to have a little alternate with the legs. If you're finding this too much, you can just hold the position. Okay. So peel your spine off, chin is tucked in, shoulders are pushed into the floor, buttocks are squeezed, tummy is tight, maintain your pelvic tilt. Alternating with the legs, keeping that ball as still as possible. You can always lift the leg just off the ball. Keep your chin tucked in, squeeze the buttocks to keep those hips lifted high, breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Keep those buttocks lifted, don't let them start to sag down. You should also feel your hamstrings are starting to have to do some work. One more. Release it down. Give your knees a hug into the chest. So squeeze your knees in. Give your knees a circle. Reverse your circle. Okay. We'll do the rollbacks with your feet on the ball. So now it's a little bit more challenging than the chair because that ball can roll around. If this one's not for you, you can keep those feet firmly planted on the floor. This is thirsty work. It's not even hot today. Must be all the talking I'm doing. Glue your knees together. So this is if you're not using your ball. Keep that same angle at the knees. Remember, you can use your band around those feet or hold hand weights to make it a little bit easier. You can just roll halfway down. It's all in that tuck of the pelvis. Squeeze ribs to hips or take yourself down as low as you can, where you can still come up again, and you're keeping that same angle at your knees. Otherwise, your feet are on your ball. Squeeze those inner thighs. That's not a good start when the ball won't remain still when I've just put my feet up on it. So again, control of your ball. So roll it down, squeeze ribs to hips, reach for your toes, draw shoulder blades into pocket, looking down towards those abdominals, roll it back. The last breath out, reaching for your toes, and sink into the hips, tucking with the pelvis to roll down. Last breath out, reaching for the toes. Try to keep in time with me. Squeeze ribs to hips, reach for your toes. Curve into your back, roll it down one vertebra at a time. If at any time you're feeling straight into the back, you can go back to perfect abdominal curl. Squeeze your inner thighs, flex your feet, and tuck with the pelvis, roll it down. Last breath out, reaching for your toes, tucking with the pelvis to roll down. Squeezing ribs to hips, reach for those toes, tucking with the pelvis. Last breath out and reach. Sink into the hips, tuck with the pelvis. Squeezing ribs to hips, reach for your toes, curve into your back to roll down. Squeeze ribs to hips, reach for your toes, tucking, tucking, tucking. A blast breath out, reach for those toes, roll it down. Are you having fun yet? All right, well done. You can take the ball away and just hold your stretch, roll down and stay down. Arms up and overhead, and try and get the whole body as flat onto the floor as possible. And easing out of that. Sitting up, we're going to work the legs. So you're going to hug your ball. You can pop leg weights on now if you'd like to. So you're going to be working buttock and outer thigh. It is already quite a challenge without the leg weights on. So I hope I'm not going to regret this. So hugging your ball, your body's in a nice straight line. You're tucking with your pelvis and hand fist on the waist. So your foot is flexed. Lift that leg up. Push out through your heel. Squeeze the buttocks, tuck with the pelvis. Take it down, but don't touch the floor. Breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. So you could be lying flat on the floor with that bottom knee bent forwards and lifting your leg. Squeeze your core, push out through the heels, squeeze the buttocks. Don't start to sink into that. Keep those shoulders away from the ears, neck in line with the rest of the spine. Straighten the knee, push out through your heels, squeeze your buttocks. So lift that leg up, push out through your heels, squeeze your buttocks. Shoulders away from the ears, tummy nice and tight, squeeze your core. So breathing out to lift. Breathe in to low. Flex your foot strongly. Push through your heel. Keep that knee locked nice and straight. Lift that leg up, pushing through the heel and down. Lift, squeeze the buttocks and down. Lifting, push out through that heel and down. Lifting, hold, 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 and down. Nearly there. Hold and down. One more, nice long holding, 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 relax, and other side. So hugging your ball, your body in a nice straight line. Make sure that you do tuck with your pelvis and shoulders are away from the ears. Don't just let your head drop, neck in line with the rest of the spine. So make sure that leg is not behind you because you'll sway into your back. Just that leg in a straight line with your body. So lock the knee, push through the heel and down. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Squeezing the buttocks, straightening the knee, shoulders away from your ears. Lift, hold, 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 and down. Get that foot up to the level of your hip. Yes, that second side is a little harder because you've already stabilized with leaning on that leg. So don't be surprised if you find the second side a little bit more challenging. So lift, hold, 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 and down. Hold and down, squeezing the buttocks, down, nice long hold, holding, holding, holding. Relax, well done. And a buttock stretch. We'll cross the knees over close for a change, but if that is awkward for you, feel free to do your wide knee buttock stretch. So right knee over the left, hold in front of that far knee, squeeze your thighs into your chest. sides. Hold in front of that far knee, the far knee more or less in line with your nose, and squeeze those thighs close. And easing out of that. You can take the leg weights off. And just when you thought it was safe, the hover rears its head. So now, because it is closer to the end of the class, you may find it a little bit more challenging as opposed to when you're fresh. So you can do your normal hover on the floor. Remember, with your hover, it's all about that pelvic tilt so that you feel the tummy and not your lower back. If you're doing the hover on your ball, make sure your hands are in the center of the ball, your hands are clasped. Tuck your toes and then lift it up. So you're aiming for a straight line from the crown of the head down towards your toes. Tuck with the pelvis. Squeeze your core. Now you can either hold it there. I'm not timing at the moment because I'm hoping a few of you may be able to shake a leg. Have a little alternate with those legs. Do not cheat. Make sure you are not lying on your ball. Keep your chest lifted. Squeeze your core. Squeeze through the buttocks. Shoulders pressed away from your ears. Maintain that tuck under with the tailbone. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze your core. Keep your chin tucked in. Hold, hold, hold. Down, one more each side. Release it gently. Give your shoulders a little circle. With the next one, we'll do another hover. And we're going to move that ball slightly away and slightly forwards. You don't need to have a lot of range of movement to feel it more in those tummy muscles. Just make sure you're not hunching your shoulders. Move from your arms as opposed to doing that sort of thing. Otherwise, you'll just do another normal hover on your arms on the floor. So, that position, tuck your toes, lift it and hold it. Tuck under with the tailbone, move that ball away and move it forwards. Squeeze your core, tuck under with the tailbone, pinch through the buttocks. Can you notice as you move that ball away, those tummy muscles are having to work a little bit harder. One more. And release it gently. Come into rest position. All right. We're going to do knee bends. This exercise is a little bit more challenging. So if it's not for you, then don't do it. So if you do have a sore back or sore shoulders, steer clear of this exercise and make sure no falling off your ball, no sharp objects around. So we're going to walk the ball out until you are in a plank position with the ball underneath your feet. And for some of you, just walking out like that may be enough. So if you don't have a ball, you could at this point do some swimming on the floor, your one arm, one leg. You just need to start further further back so I don't walk off the screen. We'll give it a try and see. So walk over your ball. Give it a try. No bananas. There. We're going to be right. We're going to walk off. Okay. I'm just actually going to do that once more because I need to be back a little further. So I'm going to have a little cheat and pop my feet up on the ball here. All right. Or maybe I'm not. Let's try that again. Squeeze your core. Always do as I say and not as I do. How about that? Lifting up. All right. Roll that ball in, knees to your chest, and push that ball away. Breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out, knees to your chest, breathing in to roll it away. Keep those knees in close to your chest, push that ball away. Elbows are soft. Make sure you get back to a straight position. Knees to the chest, roll that ball away. Knees in and roll away. Tuck under with the tailbone, push that ball away. One more. Slowly coming off your ball. Give those wrists a little shake and into rest position. And grand finale, we'll do the pike, which is a little bit more challenging than that previous one. We'll only do a few of these. We'll aim for between 3 to 5. So this is just if you want to challenge. Need a sip of water before I do that one. So you're going to walk it forwards again. I'll start further back this time. So walk it until that ball is in underneath your feet. And pike yourself up. Make sure your shoulder stays above your wrist. Lift your hips up to the ceiling. Pull those tummy muscles in. Breathing out. And in. Lift your hips. And down. One more. Release it gently. That should be done earlier in the class, I think. Give those wrists a little shake, but it's a good grand finale. We'll stand up and do standing spine roll. Hopefully you've loosened up and enjoyed your mid-week madness on the ball. Oh, chopped my head off. All right. So breathe in, grow taller. Breathing out, chin to chest, roll it down. Notice how far down you're reaching. Beeline, use those abdominals. Uncurl to the upright. Being aware of your posture. Tummy in, tailbone down. Make sure there's a straight line through your ankle, through your knee, and through your hip, and through your shoulder. Make sure you're not hanging out here. All right. Draw in and tuck under. Stretching through the neck, shoulder blades are in pocket. Looking over your shoulder. And the other side. Drop your head right back. Chin to chest. Keep your shoulders level, ear to shoulder. Gentle pull, press through the heel of the hand. To the other side, gentle pull. Clasp your hands, pinch your shoulder blades, try and lift those arms up as high as you can. And release, hunch the shoulders up. And relax. So those muscles know the difference between contracting and relaxing. And give them a circle and have a little alternate. So remember your principles of good posture, walk tall, snack on some of those exercises, and have a great week. Well done.